Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Mike Missanelli podcast. It is a joyous Friday, October 13th, the day after, well, just hours ago, the Phillies completed a 4-game triumph over the big bad Atlanta Braves, and they move on to the National League Championship Series against, of all teams, the Arizona Diamondbacks. And I don't want to get ahead of myself. We'll talk about this a little later. This is podcast number 121 of the Mike Missanelli podcast, brought to you by BetRivers. We're going to go chapter and verse with every little moment in this game. A little later in the podcast, we'll move into our Eagles preview versus the Jets this week, and we'll give us our picks of the week and 3 questions for Mikey Miss, just to add a little levity to the situation. My Mike Unleashed today will be in the form of me ripping the Braves, who have a weak constitution, and we saw it. Listen, I'm happy for the Phillies, but I like to see a team with fight, and the Braves aren't a team with fight. And it is amazing the juxtaposition from the regular season to what they showed in the playoffs. Now, you got to give a lot of credit to the Phillies pitching for that. I don't want to deny that. But these Braves, touted as one of the greatest offenses in the history of baseball, got feeble swings, looked scared, had no approach offensively against the Phillies. And we'll get into this, and I'll explain. Now, the Phillies, it was a great way to win last night. They win with 3 home runs, the crowd going crazy. They won with clutch pitching. They were managed wonderfully, even though Rob Thompson made some moves that made you raise your eyebrows a little bit. But this guy seems to know exactly how his team is going to respond. And it is amazing that he used Craig Kimbrell in the middle of this game. We'll go over that. But let me just start, because in the end, it was another Braves El Foldo. And for me, the Braves, they have proven to be such a paper tiger. The Phillies ate their hearts in this series. Seriously, they took their hearts out of them. They tucked it in their sock. This is 2 years in a row now. And in a desperation elimination game where they got their best pitcher going, they go out meekly. Toughness shows itself. And the Braves didn't show any toughness. In the opposite view, the Phillies showed all kinds of toughness, and you saw why they deserved to win. Let me just go over a couple averages for the Braves here. Ronald Acuna hit 143, and last night, ground out until he finally hit one, but he didn't hit it solid enough, and it was run down by the center fielder. And every time this dude grounded out, he lollygagged at the first base, every single time. Now, that sends a message to people that they're not engaged in an elimination game. And then after the game, the coward skates out of the locker room and saying no habla, and says he has to catch the bus. All right. So this is the kind of guy that you have. Now, I touted him a couple weeks ago in his podcast as maybe the greatest player I've ever seen. But what I saw in this playoffs was a quitter. And I saw a bunch of quitters on that Braves team. And if I'm a Braves fan, and I'm not, and that's why I'm wearing the Phillies hat today, I'm damn pissed at this team. They're not tough enough to win anything. And that starts with the manager, and it goes down the line to a bunch of guys who revealed their true selves in the playoffs. All right, so let's start here, because Nick Castellanos has to get all kinds of credit. I mean, listen, hitting 2 home runs in consecutive games is a pretty significant achievement. And he hit the second home run off a 100-mile-an-hour fastball. Now, do you know how quick you have to be with the bat to hit a 100-mile-an-hour fastball out of that yard? I mean, that's just, unbelievable. Now, if Strider gets a little higher, maybe he doesn't. But he was beating the Phillies much of the night with 100-mile-an-hour fastballs down the middle of the plate, which means he had his good pop on that fastball. I went over to the bullpen before the game. I was at the game last night. Producer Darren was at the game. I went to the bullpen to see how he prepares. And he's warming up. I'm watching the scene. And he's got about 500 people, Philly fans, that are hovered around the bullpen heckling him. And this dude has to go through the routine. I'm going, man, how does he get through this with this craziness that's going on? Well, he's got this laser focus, and I'm watching the guy, and he's he's warming up by delaying his windup. He's winding up, and he's laying back on it so he gets his weight distributed. And I'm watching the ball come out of his hand. I go, holy Christ, this guy's got electric stuff tonight. And I'm curious to see how the Phillies are going to deal with it. Well, they dealt with it by hitting high velocity with great bat speed. And when you do that, when you match that up, the ball's going to go out of the yard. So 2 for Castellanos and 1 Trey Turner was a monster home run. Let's look at this game piece by piece here. And again, this is a game where the Braves had to get off offensively early against Ranger Suarez. This isn't Wheeler, and this isn't even Nola with command of the strike zone. This is Ranger Suarez. He's got good. He throws a sinker. He throws a 94-mile-an-hour fastball and a sinker. And they didn't get off against him, and they let Ranger Suarez get through the 5th inning. And again, it's Acuna, ground out, fly out. And they had defensive swings all night against Sanchez or Suarez. And they couldn't handle the pressure of their weak offense. And it just, the more it went on, the more they squeezed harder. Albies first at bat. He just kind of flipped his bat and got a weak infield pop-up out of there. Riley in the first stared at the first pitch, flailed at the first pitch. It was a changeup, a swing and miss on an outside fastball. They didn't have an approach. And I'm looking at it going, you got to have an approach against Suarez. You got to see pitches. You got to know what's coming. You got to measure him out. And the Braves completely lost their offensive focus. All right, Turner had been 0 for 17 against Spencer Strider coming in. So Strider threw 6 straight fastballs at the start of the game. He's going, okay, I'm coming right at you. He threw 3 straight fastballs to Schwarber, and I'm going, holy God, nobody throws fastballs to Schwarber. He's trusting his fastball. All right, you want to hit it? Here it is. Boom. And Turner, with the second at-bat of the game, got a slider. After the 6 fastballs, he sped up his bat with a slider, and he rips a double. Now, he didn't mess with Harper in the first at-bat. Stayed away from him, walked him. Boom, strikes out, and stop flies out. So now we go to the 2nd inning. Castellanos gets a 1-out walk, and Marsh smashes a single. And then there's the boneheaded play by Castellanos, where there's a fly ball. Rojas at the fly ball. Harris is a great center fielder. I don't know what Castellanos was thinking on that, but you certainly have to wait to see if that guy is going to make a great catch. And they double him off second base. You can't have a bonehead play like that. And I'm thinking that may come back to haunt the Phillies. Now, it didn't, because he made up for it. Darren, you were watching the game. You saw that play. Let's bring Darren in. What were your thoughts on that game, on that play?
I believe the quote, Mike, is deja vu all over again. Really disappointing to see back-to-back, or 2 out of 3 games, I should say, getting doubled up like that off a deep fly ball. It just can't happen once. It happened twice in 3 games in a pivotal playoff series. Really poor base running.
Yeah. And so now we move on with the game. Now, how many hard balls did they hit off of Ranger Suarez? They didn't hit any hard balls until Pilar kind of hits one to the wall. All right, it scared you for a little while, but you could tell it wasn't going to be enough in the bottom of the 3rd to get out. So now we're turning over the lineup, and Turner makes the error. And Harris now, who hits after Pilar. Harris is on second base with Acuna up again. And what's he do? He grounds to the pitcher. And this is the kind of thing where you go, if you're a player at the Braves, you go, oh, my God, this guy's got to carry us. He's getting crappy at-bats, and doesn't even look like he's paying attention to the at-bats. He's just out there flailing. Meanwhile, the Phillies, in the first 3 innings, they had first and second with 1 out. They had first and third with 1 out, and they were not cashing in. So in the 3rd inning, Turner hits a ground single to the shortstop hole with 1 out. Harper singles to right. There we go. First and third, 1 out. Now, Strider is getting his pitch count up. And I'm going, oh, man, listen, he's close to 60 now as we get to the 3rd inning. Boom, feeble fly out on the first pitch. Bad approach. It's an infield fly out. And then Stott has a great at-bat, saw 8 pitches, but he finally strikes out. Now, so the tension is loading here. And the Braves finally get a lead. It's the top of the fourth. Albies with another bad at bat, feeble pop up. Riley on a 1-0 smashes the ball down the left field line for a home run. That's one of the few leads they've had in the whole series. In fact, the Braves only led for I think 3 innings in the whole series. So now they have a lead at 1-0. Olsen hits a line drive to left. I'm looking at the pen, and it's starting to stir because they got a short leash on Ranger Suarez. But Ozuna, who has been a pig all series, hits into a ground ball double play. So they get out of it. The Braves are up 1-0. How would the Phillies respond? Strider needs a shutdown inning here. They finally take the lead. He blows away Real Muto on a high fastball. Now, people go, how can you swing at that? When that ball comes out of his hand, it looks like a strike. It looks like a strike. It's going to come right down the middle, and then it gets this little rise factor, and you can't catch up with it. So he strikes out. Castellanos gets a first pitch slider. Bang. Home run. Deep home run, too. So that energizes the Phillies. Now we're tied. All right. So, we go to the Braves' fifth. Murphy hits a leadoff single. Dominguez is up now. Pilar strikes out. Arcia, a feeble fly out to Rojas, and Harris, a chopper to the second baseman. They get out of it, but now Dominguez is going to come in. Phillies fifth. Schwarber strikes out with Strider's 6th strikeout of the night. Slider he threw him. Turner on a high slider. Bang! Demoralizing. A 2-1 lead now for the Phillies. Harper walked, but Bohm hit into a double play. But Turner puts him in a lead at 2-1. Would that be enough to win the game with this Braves offense? Now the Braves are behind. And I'm thinking, oh my God, they're thinking the same thing I'm thinking, which is, we're behind again. Do we have enough offense to get back into it? And they wound up, no, they didn't have enough offense. Braves 6. Dominguez in the game now. This is really interesting to me because Dominguez, I don't even know he knows it, but Thompson knows that he's only got Dominguez in there for two batters. Get me 2 batters. Get 2 batters out for me. Acuna, ground ball, first pitch. New pitcher in there. Dominguez swings at the first pitch. It's a ground ball. That's a terrible approach because Dominguez can get wild. What is the benefit of you swinging at that first pitch? Work a count. See some pitches with this guy. Get him a little jumpy because you're up. He let him off the hook with a first pitch swing. All right, Albies. Another weak fly ball to left field. Riley singles. Olsen's up. Boom. Here comes Thompson. You're out. Dominguez is out. I am not going to have a right-handed pitcher pitch to Matt Olsen. So he goes to Alvarado in the 6th inning. This is great managing because he's thinking, I don't want to save these guys for late. F that. We got to win this game. So I'm going my best here. I'll take my chances that my back end guys, the middle guys can get people out in the 9th inning. I got to preserve the game right now. This is why you manage pitch by pitch and batter by batter, which Snitker didn't do in game 3. All right. He gets a fly out. Alvarado gets a fly. They're out of the inning. Phil 6th. Stott strikes out. Real Muto flies to deep right. Castellanos fouls off a 100-mile-an-hour fastball. Slider in the dirt. Whiffs on a 99 fastball located on the outside part of the plate. Great pitch by Strider. So now he's got him in the bag. Fouls off a fastball that's right down the middle at 101. But he seemed to be on it a little bit. Strider's next pitch is a 100-mile-an-hour fastball. Bang! Smashes another one that looked like it was going to go into the second deck. Gives him a 3-1 lead. That's the end of Strider. Now, if you noticed in that little mound meeting, and I'm just guessing what Strider said. Because Strider, frankly, did his job. He pitched his ass off. He gave up 3 solo home runs, but he was challenging him the whole night. You're going to see my best. If you hit it, you're going to hit it. But my God, I got to count on my offense to pick me up here. So when Snicker takes the ball from him, he yells something in his glove. And I'm thinking he yelled, "Would you fucking guys take this game now and hit?" Something like that is what I'm thinking he's saying. All right, pick me up or something like that. Because the guy, I love this guy. I think he's a competitive guy. Watching him pitch in the bullpen with all that nonsense going around him, singularly focused. He's got a bulldog mentality that nobody else on that team seems to have. I'll take him any day of the week. All right. Braves 7th. Now the Phillies have a 2-run lead, and Alvarado is still in. And Thompson is thinking here, get him out quickly. When you get into the 20 realm of pitches, that's not good. That's not comforting for us. So what happens is Ozuna swings at the first pitch. Again, listen, I'm sitting here watching, and I appreciate really good baseball. And really good baseball is a good offensive approach. And these guys from the Braves had no idea what a great offensive approach was. New pitcher comes in. He swings at the first pitch. With Alvarado now in his second inning, pops it up. Now, why would you swing? I don't understand, guys. I really don't. So when the Braves go into the offseason, they got to look at guys like Ozuna and that other flake that they played in left field, who pinch hit later in the night, who killed them all series long. Right? These guys don't have an approach. And they're played right into the Phillies' hands with Thompson managing with his relief pitchers. Okay. First of all, you're down 3-1 swinging at the first pitch. That's one thing. You need a base runner. All right. Now, Murphy. It's a hard ground ball. Scott scoops it. Throws him out, makes a nice play. Alvarado had about 2 outs in 4 pitches. But then he starts to lose it a little bit. Long at bat to Pilar. He finally walks him. Arcia gets him to 3-2, and then he walks him. And now it's first and second. And a weird sequence pops up here. Here comes Harris. And Harris hasn't had a hit all series. So Snicker pinch hits for Harris with d'Arnaud. And I'm thinking, I'm not sure I would do that. I know Harris is an offer here, but Alvarado is now straining to throw strikes. So do I want to keep Alvarado out there? Because I know if I send Harris up there, he's not going to bring a righty in. He's going to trust Alvarado and try to extend him, which to me, if I'm Snicker, is the better managerial strategy. Instead, he goes with d'Arnaud against Alvarado. Now, I don't know if he thought he was going to leave Alvarado in there and have a righty against lefty, but Thompson immediately, once the pinch hitter is announced, goes to the pen and goes righty. And the righty is Kimbrel. And I'm going, oh, what? Seriously? He's going to bring Kimbrel in this game?
So that was the moment of the night that I thought, we're at a crossroads right here.
This is why baseball is so brilliant when you get a chess move and a chess move. And I'm thinking right along with it because I like to manage the game along with it. I'm going, I don't know if Snicker made the right move here. I probably would keep Harris out there and say, okay, leave Alvarado out there. Because what I see with Alvarado, he seems to be blowing up right now. But instead, he kind of played in their hands. But Kimbrel walks the d'Arnaud. Okay. So now the bases are loaded for Acuna. Now, when you're watching this moment, Darren, what are you thinking?
That is all right. So my daughter was there with me, and we stood for 9 innings. She might have held me up for about 4.5 of them, but we stood for 9 innings. Except for at this point, I had to sit down and put my head in my hands because I just saw the writing on the wall. The guys who were behind us who were great and yelling, partying with us the whole game. They were like putting on their shoulders, they're literally pulling me up out of the seat. They're like, "Come on, man, come on, man." That was the only time of the night that I was really about to crap my pants nervous. That was the moment. That was the time of the game right there. And I'll let you pick it up from there. What happened?
Yeah, well, it was at the time of the game, and everybody in the ballpark is going, "Oh no, 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 no! I've seen this with Kimbrel. Oh my
Exactly.
God!" And everybody is now scared to death, and I get it, and I'm watching this whole thing. So now, here comes Acuna, and the hopes and dreams of the Atlanta Braves fans are now riding on this guy who has had one of the greatest seasons an offensive player can have, but has really had a bad approach in this whole series. What would happen in this situation? First pitch is a wild pitch to the screen. It bounces angularly. Pilar goes halfway down like he's going to score and calls it off. Now, I don't know what would have happened at the plate, but I'm assuming that Pilar's going, I can't. There's 2 outs. If JT Realmuto makes a great play here and throws me out at the plate, I'm at the ultimate GOAT because now I've taken the bat out of Acuna's hands with the bases loaded. So he probably did the right thing. However, the other base runners are almost 3/4 of the way to the base, and they have to retreat. And I'm thinking, well, JT trying to throw it. JT's going, I can't throw this because if I make an error to throw, I'm the GOAT. There's so many little subplots into that one moment. It's fantastic. All right. Strike at the bottom of the zone. Now we're 1-1. Curveball inside. Good curveball. Swing and miss. Good rip at a fastball. He fouls it back. He lays off a curve. It's now 2-2. He hits a foul to the first base side, which maybe when he was hit, he had a chance. Maybe Harper gets over and catches it. No. Goes in the stands. Inside fastball. Drives it to center field. And I'm going, does he have enough here to at least hit the wall? Rojas goes back. At a moment, Rojas got tentative with it and then finally caught up with it because that's a tough wall. That's an angular wall. It's a wall that comes out at a point. He finally catches up with it. It didn't have enough gas to get to the wall, and they get out of it, and that is the moment of the game right there. That ball hits the wall. 3 guys score. The Braves are in the lead, and you never know what can happen. But again, the Phillies had all the right moves in this series. So a ball like that, the Phillies commanded the series. It's not going to happen to the Phillies in this series. It's just not going to happen. They are programmed to win this series. So now all they have to do is complete it. Top of the 8th. Kimbrel goes back out there. What'd you think of that?
Well, who was up at that point?
Albies.
Right. I was okay with that.
So you got Kimbrel against 2, 3, 4.
I was okay with that because Albie wasn't doing any real extra base damage this series, and I honestly, I was so worn out from the Acuna at bat. I was fine with it. I didn't know. Look, I get nervous when relievers who aren't accustomed to coming out for a second inning, even if they only saw 2 batters in the first inning or in their previous inning, I still get nervous. And it all depends on the length of time that they're sitting. He wasn't sitting that long, so I was okay with him coming back out.
All right. I didn't know how I feel about that, bringing him out for another inning. He doesn't do that very much. Certainly later in his career, he hasn't done it that much. I'm not so sure I would have brought him out. But just like Dominguez, and he brings him out, he says, give me 2 hitters. Because he's got now Albies is a better left-handed hitter than right-handed hitter. So that's why I thought he may go to the lefty in there, because it's all going to come down to who he has out there for Olsen. Riley's the second hitter. If Riley hits a home run, it's still 3-2. But in any event, he sends Kimbrel out there. And Albies, another pig fly out to center field. And then he strikes Riley out. Plays right into Thompson's hand because here comes Olsen. I got my lefty warmed, and it's Gregory Soto who he brings in. And Soto gets Olsen on the ground ball that results in a first base collision that hits the surgically repaired elbow of Bryce Harper. And another, everybody go, whoo!
The
Right?
loudest crowd in
Everybody's looking,
baseball.
everybody is gasping
The
at
loudest
that.
crowd in baseball went completely silent. Everybody just looked at each other and
Yes.
mouthed, "Oh shit."
Yes. Now they're out of the inning, but what's the situation with Harper? As it turns out, it was a funny bone shot. He would be okay. And now let's fast forward to the Braves ninth, because uh, out comes Soto again. All right. Ozuna is the first hitter. He walks. I'm going, oh man, this guy does not have a clue. And you walk him and you put him on base, and Murphy singles to right. The tying runs are on base. Ozuna goes to third base, and there's a play, but Ozuna is clearly safe. So that's the one thing he did all series, where he showed some hustle and he got to third base. First and third, nobody out. And here comes Strom. It's a Pilar up. Pilar stinks.
Before you go any further, when Strom comes in the game
Mhm.
at that point, did you think he was going to be as effective as he was? Did you have any inclination that he was just come in? And I know you're going to go through the play-by-play here,
He's the. I didn't mind it because it's the bottom of the order.
and I
You know,
noticed that
I'm
too.
looking. The Braves' bottom of the order was horrendous all series, right? So the first guy he's facing is Kevin Pillar, who stinks. He's not a hitter. He's now 35. He's no threat to me. He hits an infield pop up, gets jammed to the shortstop. All right. Now, again, the Braves have to have an approach here. First and third, nobody out. You got to make sure you don't get jammed. You get a good pitch to hit. You see pitches, whatever. He swings early in a count, hits off the handle, pop fly. Gives them an out, gives them a gift. Rosario is the next hitter. Feeble first pitch, shallow pop up. I can't believe these Braves hitters. They have no thought process at all. So he gets himself out. Two guys just got themselves out. 2 outs. And they send this kid, Grissom, who was their highly touted shortstop product, who didn't work out. They had sent him back to the minor leagues. And that's how Arcia got the job. Grissom is their last hope. If you're a Braves fan, you go, oh, Jesus God. First and third, nobody out, and these mopes come up to try to win the game for us. And Grissom is just overmatched at that point. Check swing on a slider, strikes out, ball game. And the crowd erupted. The Phillies erupted. And it's for the second straight year that hangdog Braves team had to watch the Phillies celebrate on the field. And it was a glorious moment in Philadelphia sports history, again, that they take out the Braves.
It really was an incredible night. I mean, I just that moment with Acuna versus Kimbrel was everything. Strom when Strom came in the ninth inning, man, I did not know. I know it's the bottom of the order, but here's the thing: there's two types of playoff teams in any sport, Mike. Those who go out and take it, and those who wait for it to come to them. And the Braves were a team that were all series waiting for the game to come to them. And the Phillies went out and took it. 2 years in a row of that. And that's just two different
Yeah.
mindsets, two completely different mindsets.
You're absolutely right. Here's the bottom line on the Braves. If I'm the general manager, I see what my team is, and I've got to figure out some way to get them tougher. Now, Olsen had a great year, but Freddie Freeman's tougher. Arcia had a good year, but Dansby Swanson is tougher. And I think they learned a valuable lesson here. And I don't know if that manager continues, because obviously he couldn't push the right buttons to get them past the Phillies the second straight year. So what's the point? They got to make some changes. Now, I'm not worried about the Braves. That's their problem. The Phillies play the Arizona Diamondbacks. What I think is a lesser matchup, without disrespecting this spunky team who's got a lot of verve right now and are playing loose and blah, blah, blah. I don't think they match up very well with the Phillies. I think this could actually be a 5-game series at most. And I know, well, no, don't jinx it, Mike. Yeah, I'm not jinxing it. They've got two good starting pitchers, and Zach Gallen, who's coming back to Philadelphia after having grown up here, we're going to Bishop Eustace, and Merrill Kelly. But there's a point in time when a lesser team just doesn't have the ammo to keep up, and they're going to be playing the first two games in Philly. So I don't see this. I think the Phillies are a dead lock to get to the World Series, whoever they're going to play, one of those Texas teams. Just a couple postscripts on this series. The Phillies held the Braves, the greatest offensive team in history, some said, to 8 runs in 4 games. This is a team that tied a major league record for home runs in the regular season, 307. The Phillies out-homered them 11-3. Castellanos. This was a guy who swung at 41% of the pitches out of the strike zone this year. In this series, he saw 29 of those pitches, and he only swung at 5 of them. So he saw 29 out of the zone pitches in this series, only swung at 5 of them. That's 17%. From 41% swinging at pitches out of the strike zone to 17% in the playoffs. That's a guy who made adjustments. That's a guy who had a better approach. In 4 games, Braves pitchers faced a total of 6 batters when the Braves had the lead. Think about that for a second. So in other words, for the majority of the series, Braves pitchers are out there trying to hold down the fort and not give up any more runs because they're pitching from behind. That's pressure. In all of the first 4 innings of this series, 5 games, 20 innings, the Braves went scoreless. This was a team that was highly touted. They jump on you early. They score early, and they didn't do it in this series. So you take all these, when you look at this series and you put it all together, one team had the balls. The other team did not have the balls. And that's the bottom line. All right, so let me go over some averages for the Braves, Darren, just so I crystallize this point in me ripping a heartless team. And I was looking at these numbers here. Acuna hit 143. Albies had horrible at-bats the whole series. Ozuna hit 154. Rosario hit 143. Arcia, Mr. Mouth, hit 154. Harris, 0-0-0. This is the best offensive team in history, and that's what the Phillies did to them. Just a postscript on this series, because I'm going to tell you right now that this whole playoff format is going to change. And it's going to change because Major League Baseball really does not appreciate the fact that the top 5 record teams in their league, including 3 of them who won 100-plus games, were a combined 1 for 13 in the playoffs and found themselves now golfing and going on vacation. I will guarantee you that the league tweaks the playoff system so far as the bye teams not having as long a layoff. I don't know how they're going to do that, but guaranteed they're going to do it because they don't like this. Am I right or wrong?
I hope not. I really don't, because, it takes testicular fortitude to win in the Major League playoffs, in the Major League Baseball postseason. The Astros haven't had a problem.
One team.
They're good enough to win the World Series last year.
One team.
I understand.
will guarantee that 2 things.
Let's just look at the National League, right? The Braves. Look at the mental makeup of the team. Tells you everything you want to know about them. Look at the Dodgers. Now, the Dodgers lost, they lose 3 starting pitchers this year? And they had everything riding on Kershaw, who went a third of an inning in game 1. The mental makeup of that team, top heavy, Betts, Freeman, rest of the, these teams, yes, it's great that you won 100 games in the regular season. But if you are a general manager, you better assemble a team with testicular fortitude to get into and through the postseason, because it takes a different type of mindset to play in the Major League Baseball postseason.
Dude, you're spitting into the wind, okay? I will guarantee you that Major League Baseball is going to change this thing. And I'm going to tell you something else is going to happen. The tush push is going to be tweaked and outlawed. That if I'm Nostradamus and I'm making those two predictions, sure as I'm sitting here, are going to come true next year. All right.
I think you're wrong about the tush push, because every other team is trying it now. They're just not successful.
I love the fact that you're a naive lad. All right.
Hold on. You said they were going to outlaw it last year. What happened?
They talked about it, didn't they? Now it's gotten more heat. It's gotten more heat now. If you don't think they talked about it last year, if you don't think they're going to change it this year with even more heat on it, you're crazy. All right. That'll do it for the Mike Missanelli podcast for Friday the 13th, October 13th. Ooh. Friday the 13th. That's right. It came one day late for the Braves because their Friday the 13th was last night. So good luck to the Braves. Listen.
Good luck to the Braves at Pebble this week.
Well, there's a lot of the golf courses. East Lake. I'm sure they got tee times on East Lake today. All those Braves. So have a good day playing golf. The Phillies are preparing.
They're sleeping right now.
Today, they're sleeping in, waiting for the Diamondbacks to come in. Everybody have a great rest of the night. Again, you can catch my Friday vlog today on my website, mikemiss.com. I will have some things to say on the vlog, and my main focus on the vlog would be the Orlando Arcia thing, where he said in the locker room, and there are ex-athletes that are ganging up saying it was inappropriate for that reporter to report that. And I am just going to skewer everybody, including some journalists now who are also getting on the player side, that they can't report it. That's going to be my Friday blog. Check it out on mikemiss.com, and that's where you can reach me email-wise. It's mike@mikemiss.com. Ask me a question. I want to mention my friends at Natural Lawn. I swear to God, my lawn has never looked better. I've had to mow it now like 3 times in the last couple of weeks because it's growing like crazy with the good fertilizer on it. And you can only get the natural materials that Natural Lawn puts on your grass. So check out Natural Lawn of America.
When the kids ride by, do you say, "Hey, Tommy, hey, Mikey, what a day for a mow, huh?"
I don't know. I really don't do that.
That's wrong.
No, but people stop me every now and then. They go, your house has great curb appeal. And that's because of the lawn. All right. Everybody have a great Friday. It's a beautiful day. Enjoy it before the rain comes in this weekend. This is Mike Missanelli for Darren. It's the Mike Missanelli podcast. Tell your friends about it. It comes out at least 4 times a week now that we're doing the Phillies games. So hopefully you listen. Take care for the rest of the day. This is Mike Miss. See ya.